You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother. 友人の剣をくれ!
Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? This is Zen from Zen Multiverse, and I hope you're having a great day. So we have a brand new manga from Shonen Jump that just released today, and it's called Neru, The Way of the Martial Artist. So I read it today, and today for me is 4th of July, so if you hear any fireworks going off in the background, you know why, right? So I'm just going to give you a story rundown for the entire chapter. I'm going to use bland terms. I'm not going to use specific names except for two of the main characters, but then you'll get a chance to really know the story. So let's continue. So we're introduced to a character, and the character itself, he seems to be a younger kid, and this is Neru, right, in his younger days, and he's also training with his grandfather. So with his grandfather, they're training in the way of just fighting based prowesses or martial arts, right? Way of self defense, right? Um, and in the chapter, you see a soliloquy from Neru, and he's basically saying that his grandfather's no regular guy, right? He isn't any mystical sage or anything like that, but he is someone who no day has passed by where he hasn't gotten better. And there's a really cool quote, and I think this is one of the quotes that led me to keep going because as a martial artist myself, um, or just a person who just lives life, this quote was pretty important. So I'm going to bring up my phone because I have it right here. And his grandfather says to him, when Neru says, I wanna one day I hope to catch up to you, right? And then he's like, after all, he said, I'm not too sure how you're gonna basically do that because he said, after all, I'll be stronger tomorrow than I am today, right? Which leads the life kind of lesson, right? That every day you're reaching to be stronger than who you were yesterday in some type of way, right? Stronger in the physical component and mental capacity as well, right? But in this case, they're talking about martial arts, right? So it's pretty cool. Then we get a time skip where we see Neru in junior high school, and he's doing his thing, and he sees one of his friends, and he's like, "You want to spar with me?" And his friend was like, "No, we have to go to X, Y, and Z." But anyway, jumping ahead, they're in this place within the school grounds, and they see this student, right? But she's in a higher grade, and him and his friend are like, all right. His friend is like, all right, it's time to use all of those skills, all those training you've been going for, right? And then Nero's like, are you sure that she's being harassed? And he's like, yeah, like look, right? And we do see a picture where it looks like he has like kind of like a knife, but it looks more like a kunai. And then Nero just goes in there. He's like, and he tries to save the day, and he makes a little joke, and he's like, "All right." He says, "Are you?" He's like, "Are you a ninja?" Because this is a kunai, basically like that. And the guy's like, and then he tries to pick up his counterpart, the counter bully, right? Who's harassing the girl. But anyway, jumping along, we see in the alleyway, which is kind of like in the school grounds. That part is a little bit confusing, but we see Nero's friend talking to the girl because he also wants to talk to like an older woman, as he puts it, right, or someone in the older grade. So they're talking together, and he's basically telling him about a book that Neru had, and also just about Neru in general, right? Um, which is pretty cool, because then it leads her to understand more about Nero's character. But we're as a reader, we're like, okay, why does she want to know so much about him? So then later on, we see her kind of she has the book that he has, and within the book, it's they describe it as a picture book, right? But she describes it late to the friend as like, no, this is a martial arts book, right? And he was like, oh, you know about this stuff. So as she has the book, later on we see her on the grounds of where Neru lives, right? And there's a lot of different masks within I where the living grounds of where Neru is. And one of the cool things that we learn, it's not a cool thing, but we get a little bit more understanding that the grandfather has left 3 years ago, right? What happened to him, we don't know. We know from the friend, as described to the girl, which was is going to be later revealed. Her name is going to be later revealed. That there wasn't. They tried to go about doing things in a way to see if it was a crime case or something, but apparently there was nothing that was found, right? So we're led to believe that he left on his own account, right? of course, we already know that that's going to come to some kind of revelation throughout the series itself. So I'm excited to see that. But push the shove. We see Neru, who's kind of like looking for his book, right? And he's basically like, you know what? Um, because he's done markings all over the site, right? There's on rocks and things of that nature, like different skills that he's received from the book in terms of like training and things of that nature. And he's like, you know what? I can't find the book, but he said I don't really need the book as long as I could train the way I want to train. But there's something very specific about Nero that he's longing for, and the reason why he asks his friend, "Do you want to spar?" is because he Nero doesn't have anyone to kind of to embark on this martial arts journey with him. It's just like it's just him training. Everyone else has their own thing, but it doesn't happen to be martial arts, right? And Neru kind of thinks within his psyche, "Can I just want to do this. This is what I like to do, right? I like to train. I like to get stronger." Um, but then he comes across the this girl, right? This girl has on a mask, and he's like, "What are you doing with one of my grandfather's masks?" Right? Come to find out, it is that girl. So her name is Akabi, and basically she's a martial artist too. And then she takes out this katana sword and they start to spar with each other, right? And he has a smirk on his face because he's so excited because he's been longing for this type of experience. He's only really trained with his grandfather, who is no longer around, right? And all he wishes to do is to get stronger, right? To get stronger than how he is every single day, as the days progress. So it's pretty cool overall. Because then she introduces herself, right? Akabi, and she brings them somewhere where there's other martial artists, which is pretty cool. So it kind of ends the chapter right there. But the coolest thing about it, I think, for me, is kind of what life lessons will this manga teach, right? I've been longing for a manga that has like some kind of like life lessons embedded in it. And I think this one might have it, right? If I was to rate this, I would say this chapter, what would I rate it? I would rate it probably a go read it, right? I'm not gonna give it a numerical value. I just want you to go read it, see if you like it, because my explanation is only enough to give you a little bit of insight, but you have to experience it for yourself. So with that being said, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse, saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying my content, drop me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you all later for the next one. Okay? Later.